Hi everyone, it's Laura here from Laura's Creative Pages and Cards with day number 16 with this really fun happy birthday card. Alright, so it's in the landscape, which is the 5.5 wide by 4.25 high, and then we're going to need this piece of lagoon cardstock cut at 3.25 by 4.5, followed up by a piece of sapphire which is cut at 3 3/8 by 1 5/8, then a piece of glacier cut at 3.25 by 1.5. We also need this white daisy at 1 1/8 by 5.5. This present paper is 5/8 by 5.5, and then we need 2 of these striped pieces which are 1/4 by 5.5. Okay, so the other thing we are going to need for this card is some of the decorative paper with the presents and stars on it. So as you can see, there's lots of icons on our printed paper here. These here are going to become our embellishments on this particular card. So let's start by attaching this lagoon cardstock to the center of our card front. So just 5 pieces of tape I'm using on this one, and then I'm just going to make sure that I get it in the center of that card front there. And once I'm happy with it being straight and centered, I'll press that on down. Okay, and I want to use my black journal pen here to add the detail to both of the lagoon piece and also to the outside edge of the white cardstock, because I find again that this just gives it a little bit extra. So I've opened my card front there just so I can get really nice and close to the fold, and I've added that journal pen just to make it pop. Right, now that we've done that, I want to show you what I've done with this white daisy. I've actually used it to attach all of the printed pieces of paper to it. So I'm starting off with the wider one in the center. It is actually cut a little bit smaller than the size of all 3 pieces butted up to each other. And the reason for this is I'm attaching these 3 pieces of paper to the cardstock to help stiffen them up, to give them a solid base, because I'm going to add it to the card with some 3D foam tape. So it will prevent the paper from sagging, and it keeps all 3 pieces together nicely before they get foam raised on the card. So this is why I've used the white daisy beneath these, so we're not going to see any of the white daisy once all 3 pieces are attached. It's simply serving the purpose of stiffening up the 3 pieces of paper and creating a lovely border that can be then 3D foam raised onto this card. So all of those pieces are attached, and you can see there's a little bit of overhang. Like I said, the white daisy is slightly smaller than the printed paper. So I'm just going to add a couple of 4 pieces of 3D foam tape to this border, just evenly spaced along, so that it helps it not sag through the center there. Now that I've got all of those pieces of foam tape attached, I'm removing the backing and I'm going to attach it to the card front. Just not quite central, it'll be slightly more to the bottom of the card, ever so slightly. Okay, pop that piece on, and then the next piece that we're going to place onto this card is the sapphire cardstock, and that one's going to sit here where I'm showing you. I'm going to 3D foam raise this. I actually want to foam raise it on top of the printed border. So on the top half of it, when it's stuck down, I need this to be double foamed to height, because this is going to be attached to the lagoon cardstock. And then on the bottom half of it, I just need a single foam height, because that's what's going to be stuck onto the printed border that we've just created. Okay, so just removing the backing off of these, and then we're going to attach it in the position that I'd shown you previously. Perfect. We've now got that, and so it's slightly higher than the printed border. It's that foam raise another level, giving it lots of dimension. Okay, let's stamp the happy birthday. So for this card here, we are only using black ink. We're not using any other color ink today, just black. So I'm just inking up that outline happy, which features in many of these cards, but it is a super fun stamp set, a particular stamp icon. I just like this happy a lot. Then we're going to get the curvy birthday from the stamp set, and we're going to straighten that one out on the block by holding down the B and then just curving, straightening out that curve at the opposite end. and we're going to ink that one up in black as well and just fit that there underneath the happy. Excellent. Okay, and then what I did to add the color to this was I just used the Tri-Blend marker in the True Blue shades, and I actually used the darkest end for this one, and I colored in all of the letters. But what I also did was I actually colored in the centers of this birthday, so wherever it created a circle or just a center, so just in the B, the R, the D and the A, I colored those in just to give it a different feel and a different look, which I love that we can change it up and make things look different. So then I've gone through and just colored in the rest of the happy in the same shade of blue. And that's a really simple this time, nothing tricky to this one. And that there is just going to go into the center. Oh, before I pop it in the center, I'm going to add the black journal line, of course. Again, just to give it that extra detail, make it stand out a little bit on top of that sapphire cardstock. So on goes that journal border. Now that that's done, we can go ahead and we can stick this one onto the sapphire cardstock just in the center there. And look at that, you can see this card is almost complete. So just 3 bits of tape onto the back of that glacier and then straight onto the sapphire. Fantastic. So the last thing to do to finish off this card here is to add the embellishments, which had just come from that decorative paper. So I just need to cut out each one of these elements here and with the precision scissors, and of course I leave a little bit of a white gap around the icons because this way it just hides the imperfection in the cutting. And also it does look really good having that little white border as well. So I'm just going to go through and cut all of those out, and then I'm going to attach them all with 3D foam tape on the card where as shown. So the star's going to go up against the sentiment, and then we've got the presents and the other green star as well. So there we go, we've got them on there, popping them on. And then just to finish it off with the journal pen, I'm just going to add a few little dots in that triangle formation that I've done a few times already in this series. And I just find that it finishes it off with a little bit more decoration. So there we go, everyone. This is day 16 complete. I cannot believe that we are now over halfway. It's been an amazing series. Thank you.